What's up, Iowa FFA?
I'm Mia Gibson, serving as your 2020-2021 State Secretary.
And I'm Blake Vanderkamp, serving as your 2020-2021 State Reporter.
Today's episode will be the Iowa State Fair Parade of Champions edition. The 2020 Special Edition Fair took place the middle 3 weekends in August, the 6th through the 23rd. During this time, 9 species of livestock held their respective shows. A total of 893 FFA members from 201 chapters showed over 2,562 livestock in the month of August. These FFA members are the innovators and leaders of tomorrow and are making a difference by sharing their stories of agriculture education in FFA. Together, FFA members will continue the tradition of growing leaders, building communities, and strengthening agriculture. Our officer team congratulates all the FFA members who took the initiative to participate through this past month. We will now recognize those who have excelled at the 2020 Special Edition Fair.
The 2020 Iowa FFA Special Edition Fair Beef Show. Your Grand Champion FFA Bull was exhibited by Riley Thrill from the Pleasantville FFA chapter. Trevor Borman of the Algona FFA chapter showed your Reserve Grand Champion Bull. Cassidy Becker from the Mount Ayr FFA chapter exhibited your Grand Champion cow-calf pair with her Angus cattle. Your Reserve Grand Champion cow-calf pair was exhibited by Francesca DeVore of the Seymour FFA chapter with her maintainer cattle. Your Grand Champion FFA heifer was exhibited by Marion Steenhand from the West Fork chapter with her Angus heifer. Kyle Dillslogger of the Rock Valley FFA chapter exhibited your Reserve Champion heifer. The third place Grand Champion heifer was shown by Whitney Rever of the Glyden Ralston FFA chapter with her Chiania heifer. The fourth place Grand Champion heifer was exhibited by Carson Finch of the Ballard FFA chapter. The fifth place Grand Champion heifer was shown by Micaiah Smith from the MVAO FFA chapter.
In the sheep show, the champion commercial ewe went to Trevor Schultz of the Exira Elkhorn Kimballton FFA chapter. Nick Mosier of the Boyden Hall FFA chapter had the reserve. Grand Champion Market Lamb was exhibited by Phoebe Sanders of Claring. Oliver Dyes from the Gilbert FFA chapter exhibited the reserve.
Your overall high point exhibitor for the horse show at the 2020 Fair Special Edition was Jessica Theobald from Clear Lake. Your runner-up was Victoria Brandt from AGWSR.
Your rabbit show results are as follows. In the meat rabbit division, your reserve champion is Jordan Busher from Algona, and your champion is Jordan Busher from Algona. In the Division 6 Class Breed Rabbit, your reserve champion is Aaron Ryan from Crestwood, and your champion is Jordan Busher from Algona.
The results of the FFA Poultry Show are as follows. The Grand Champion Market Broiler Pen was exhibited by Nick Oldenburger of Applington Parkersburg, and the Reserve Champion Market Broiler Pen was exhibited by Lila Krall of West Branch. The Grand Champion Bantam was exhibited by Abigail Bean of Sioux Central, and the Reserve Champion Bantam was exhibited by Brett Schoenher of Midland. Abigail Bean exhibited the Grand Champion Large Chicken, and Skylar Windy exhibited the Reserve Champion Large Chicken. Abigail Bean of Sioux Central exhibited both the Supreme Champion Poultry and the Reserve Champion Poultry. The Grand Champion Breeding Bird was exhibited by John Steffen of Waverly Shellrock, and the Reserve Champion Breeding Bird was exhibited by Connor Reed of AgriPower. The Grand Champion Commercial Pen was exhibited by Jennifer Holliday of Nottoway Valley, and the Reserve Champion Commercial Pen was exhibited by Zoe Fisher of Mid Prairie. The Grand Champion Egg Layer was exhibited by Callan Willie of Starmont, and the Reserve Grand Champion Egg Layer was exhibited by James Hughes of Des Moines.
The moment you all have been waiting for is here. We are about to announce some of our dairy cattle grand champions for the 2020 Iowa 4-H and FFA shows. We would like to start off by recognizing our grand champion Brown Swiss. Hailing from the North Fayette Valley FFA chapter was Matthew Appler. When it comes to our grand champion Guernsey, they were shown by Turkey Valley's very own Reagan Kime. The grand champion Jersey exhibitor was Dakota Sawyer from the East Marshall FFA chapter. Finally, concluding the Dairy Cattle show, our Supreme FFA exhibitor was Dakota Sawyer from the East Marshall FFA chapter. Congratulations.
Now moving on to the Dairy Goat Show, which happened the last weekend of the fair. Your grand champion grade was exhibited by Allison Nally from the Mediapolis FFA chapter. Lauren Rosemiller from North Scott exhibited your reserve grand champion. Taylor McCready from the Atlantic FFA chapter exhibited the grand champion recorded grades. And Vin Nugan from the Orient Maxburg exhibited your reserve. Your grand champion Alpine went to Haley Rosemiller from the North Scott FFA chapter, and Vin Nugan from Orient Maxburg exhibited your reserve grand champion Alpine. Within the Meat Goat Show, your grand champion Market Meat Goat went to Nick Deppie from Bellevue, and reserve went to Joseph Heer from Nottoway Valley. Your grand champion doe went to Tanner Curtin from Williamsburg, and Cameron Meyer from Wilton was your reserve. Cole McNee from Southeast Polk exhibited your grand champion buck, and Audrey Smith from Harmony Van Buren exhibited your reserve.
The 2020 Iowa State Fair Special Edition FFA Swine Show was held during the second weekend on August 13th and 14th. The Grand Champion Commercial Gilt was exhibited by Gavin Branderhorst from the Monroe FFA chapter. From the Woodward chapter, Tate Ledow exhibited the Reserve Grand Champion Commercial Gilt. Tate Ledow from the Woodward chapter also exhibited the Grand Champion Purebred Breeding Gilt. Gavin Branderhorst from the Monroe FFA chapter exhibited the Reserve Grand Champion Purebred Breeding Gilt. The Supreme Grand Champion Breeding Gilt was exhibited by Tate Ledow from the Woodward FFA chapter. Representing the Monroe chapter, Gavin Branderhorst exhibited the Reserve Supreme Grand Champion Breeding Gilt. The Market Purebred champions went as followed. 5th overall went to Wyatt Stumpf from the Wellman FFA chapter. Mia Brecht from the Williamsburg FFA chapter received 4th overall. 3rd overall went to Jessica Frazier from the Anamosa FFA chapter. The Reserve Market Purebred champion went to Jessica Frazier from the Anamosa FFA chapter. The champion overall was exhibited by Cray Rourke from the Wellman FFA chapter. The top 5 Supreme Grand Champion Market Hogs went as followed. 5th overall went to Jessica Frazier from the Anamosa FFA chapter. From the Afton FFA chapter, Elizabeth McKnight received 4th overall. Tommy Pretz from Columbus Junction received 3rd overall. The Reserve Supreme Grand Champion was exhibited by Melanie Lane from Ocator. The Supreme Grand Champion Market Hog went to Claire Petzenhauser from Story City.
We would like to take some time these past few weeks to acknowledge our exhibitors and thank them for their hard work and dedication. We'd also like to congratulate one last time our Grand Champion exhibitors this past few weeks.
Once again, I'm Mia Gibson, serving as your State Secretary.
And I'm Blake Vanderkamp, serving as your State Reporter.
We will see you sometime.